All right, welcome to the BZ podcast. Briit and Zai, as always.
Yep.
Hope your week went well. I hope you've been waiting for the next episode. I want to take some time out to thank everybody who took time to share, like, and repost episodes. You do not go unnoticed. Anybody who signed up for our mailing list to stay up to date with the latest and newest, we appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to take some time out to acknowledge y'all, because without y'all, we would be nothing. We would be nowhere. Say hi, Britt.
Hey. What's up?
How's your week going?
Side.
All right, so this week's topic, we are going to discuss religion.
Dun dun dun.
Right, the real touchy topic, hard to navigate, but I hope we approach it in a good way that doesn't trigger anybody. We're kind of trying to make it a little more personal to us. You know?
I was like, I don't want to talk about religion. You were like, no, not that way. I was like, all right.
Yeah, we're definitely not coming at this from an aspect to claim we know it all or claim this is the right way or this is literally how we've come to terms or at the moment, because this stuff changes. It's liable to change anytime, right?
And it's a lot of nonsense in religion. Yeah. Okay? Start off by saying that. A lot of nonsense.
I want to shout out my man Tommy. I would add him, but he's one of the rare species that does not have any social media, which is probably why he's a decent human being. But he sent over some notes for us, and we're not going to have time to cover everything he sent over, but we appreciate the contribution, and this is amazing. A good
thank you.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to let you guys know that we're open. We're it's an open door policy here at the BZ podcast. Mm-hmm. You know, anything you guys want us to discuss, send it over to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, where do we begin? I'm trying to summarize what he sent. He sent us so much stuff, and I don't want to take up too much time. And we didn't want to read it off, but pretty much all religions stem from the same original source. And throughout history, the stories have been diluted into allegories, symbols, and even misinterpreted. There's a lot of parallels throughout religion.
Right.
Religion is pretty much mastering the mind. Everybody thinks the ascension is going to heaven, this place in the sky, but really it is mastering your mind and detaching yourself from the material world into a more spiritual world. So the more you remove yourself from the material world, the closer you are to ascension, the closer you are to enlightenment, the closer you are to heaven, just depending on whatever culture or whatever religion you have accepted.
Right, but what he said was about the 12 disciples. He said Jesus had 12 disciples, which also equaled 12 neurological sensors in your brain that connect to the pineal gland. So it's also like you can interpret things how you want to, make them literal, which is what a lot of religions do, make ideas of things very literal. Yeah. So that's just one of the correlations that he made.
So like the number 12, you see the number 12 in other places. You see 12 nights at the round table, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 months of the year, 12 inches in the foot, 12 chakras, energy vibrations of the chart system, 12 constellations of the zodiac. It's just stuff. The number 12 pops up in a lot of different places. Yeah, you take the next one.
Oh, with the number 7?
Yeah, number 7.
The next one that he put were pretty much connecting with the 7 primary chakras, and within the, I guess, biblical text, it'd be like the 7 deadly sins, 7 laws of nature. He also has 7 angels of the 7 churches in Revelations. And he also has like 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 days in a week, 7 laws of nature.
The earliest form of writing was found in Sumer, modern-day Iraq, and these were a series of stories written by the Sumerian culture that was the first known civilization. So these were, you get the Sumerian text, and from the Sumerian text, They have been translated from different cultures throughout history to be written to their own understanding, and some misinterpretations are done accidentally or purposefully along the way. Right. It's also good to point out, and when I say accidentally and purposefully, people can only convey their level of understanding. So if they're not understanding everything that they're trying to translate, it's like a really long ass game of telephone. So I think that's when you start to see all the different cultures pretty much adapt these teachings, the original text, into their culture, into their way of life. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go into it. What was your earliest religious memory?
Well, my earliest religious memory. Okay, so I was born in Iowa, and as you can imagine, weren't many Black people. So we used to go to this like basement church, because there weren't really like any Black churches around. You know what I mean? So we used to go to this one like basement church, and I remember seeing the preacher's wife speaking in tongues and thinking like, and I was like, I mean, we stayed in Iowa till I was like 6. So this memory has to be like maybe when I was like 5 or something. I remember thinking like, what? Like, she don't go ahead. Like, what is she doing? Like, I don't know. I just remember thinking, I mean, not to say that people speaking in tongues is BS, but 5-year-old Brittany said, that's some BS. So that's my earliest religious memory.
Okay.
What about you?
I think mine would have to be riding in a car for like a 4-hour commute to South Jersey. We used to go to a church that was 2 hours away, 2 hours back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's good to point out. My father's an elder. My mom's a minister. Mm-hmm. And so I've been in church all my life up until now. Mm-hmm. So being in church all day, not getting back home until like 11:30 midnight, and having to go to school the next day.
Wow.
And like you were saying, like people talking in tongues. I remember just being young and watching people get the spirit and just being scared, like just like, what is going on here? Everybody's wilding. You know what I mean? The person on the keyboard going ham. Mm-hmm. I used to be notorious for falling asleep in church. Yeah. Like knocked out, son. They used to make me sit next to this next to the piano player. Uh-huh. And this nigga would slap the shit out of the back of my head, yo. To wake me up like hard, son. Like he'd be playing piano and on beat, slap the shit out of the back of my head to wake my ass up. Don't even miss a key, son. But yeah, I used to just yeah. Straight up, yo. I used to smack the fire out the back of my head.
You said the fire.
The flame.
I think that's. I remember that too. Like, no, not getting smacked, but because you're talking about the piano player. I remember though in Iowa, like, just that's the main reason I wanted to go is because I knew that after church I'd go play with the instruments. Because it was just like literally like some basement. So nobody was monitoring. You always be over there getting it.
Boom, clap,
the drums. Boom, clap, boom, clap.
Yeah, for real. So that's pretty much how I grew up. So kind of grow up just, you're told this is what you're supposed to do. Right. Like you don't really have this connection. I remember like people getting in the spirit. I'm like, what's happening to them? I don't feel that. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't feel compelled to do that. But I remember, is there anything that stuck out to you? Like going to church, like anything that kind of shaped your idea or put you on a path that you're at now?
Like one specific thing or?
Nah, I mean just give an example.
Are you talking about like one of the first things, or what do you mean?
It can be anything that pops into your mind, anything that stuck with you.
See, I'm a little heathen. I don't know. Like,
go ahead.
It's my life is a bunch of back and forth with religion. Like, there's no consistency. Okay. Of course, I'm gonna go off of what my mom, because that's primarily my parent that I was with the most. Mm-hmm. Whatever she's telling us to do, but my mom is very up and down. Okay. It was either we're all in, we're going to church every Sunday, you know, really just strict about it, or it's just F everything. There is no God.
Wow.
Like, dang, okay, Gavin, there's no middle ground. Like,
we need to get Whitney on the phone. We didn't know what she going through. But I remember.
I mean, do you mean like this? Are you talking about like the second like category we were gonna go into?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you want me to go in, or you're just asking a quick question.
Nah. Go ahead.
Okay, I can go in.
Go ahead.
All right. So pretty much growing up, like none of this stuff ever really made that much sense to me. Like all these fantastical tales, I was always fixated on like where exactly did God come from. I'm a child, of course, so and I'm a very literal person too.
Yes,
so I'm just so me being a kid, I'm just like, all right, but who is he? Like, where he at? Like, I don't get it. And my mom's just like, you gotta have faith, Britt. Just gotta have faith. I'm like, okay, but I was like, all these like extreme tales, like why ain't nothing like that happening now in present day? You know what I mean? Like all that stuff, like it sounds all these giants and everything. Like where's all the magic? Where the giants and shit?
Where is all the magic?
Where's it at? So that's why I was just like, and like anytime I would question anything, and it's not like I was trying to say that the Bible was a lie or anything like that, but anytime I would question anything, my mom would just call me Lucifer's child and tell me to stop questioning the word of God. I was always Lucifer's child. Like,
that was always my that's one of the big things with me was always an issue. It's just like you didn't feel comfortable to ask questions because for whatever reason you asking a question just seemed like you were just going against the word. And it's just like, no, I need clarification. Like,
yeah, especially a kid like really trying to put things together doesn't make sense to me. So I was just pretty much like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't want to be called a demon seed, and I'll just practice just in case by default, but it still don't make sense to me. And we went to a bunch of different churches, like, in my earlier years, but we were never, like, consistent churchgoers. My mom, even at one point, started studying with some Jehovah's Witnesses when we moved to Virginia, the first city we lived in Virginia. And I was like, Mom, like, we still have a Christmas. Like, I don't care. I don't care what you say. But she didn't want to follow the Jehovah's like Witnesses, like their whole thing. She just said that they know God the best, so she wanted to see what they had to say. She felt like studying with them was the best. Then I don't know. Then I remember at one point we went to some like white church, and it was like an hour long. It was like mad short. I was like, well, this is, I mean, at least it's short, but
God bless
the
them,
music
bro.
was wet, music was terrible.
Yeah.
And then she forced me to go to Sunday school, and that's when I started getting mad. I'm like, look, all right, like,
yeah, did you have white friends that went through CCD?
No, listen,
I wanted to know what was going on there.
I never heard of CCD until last year.
Are you for real?
Yes, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah,
my
so I grew
school
up
where I work at, it used to be a Catholic school, right? And in the gym behind the curtains, it was this nice setup. My school on reg, so behind the curtains, it was like really nice.
Behind the curtains in the Catholic school.
Shut up. Down in the gymnasium on the stage behind the curtains, Zay.
All right.
It's this really nice setup, and then I was like, "Why is it so nice back there?" And they're like, "Oh, they have CCD or CDC, whatever." CCD, right?
It's CCD.
CCD. After school probably, and I'm like, what's that? I don't know anything about Catholic stuff. I barely know. I don't know, so I didn't know.
I just remember it was like Wednesdays or whatever. Yeah. All my friends would have to stop playing outside after school and go to CCD, and then I was just
I didn't grow up around any Catholic people really. All my everybody around me was Christian. I mean, I was in the South, like it's mostly
they are
Christians. I thought that was a Catholic thing. I'm not saying that Catholics aren't Christian, but isn't that a Catholic thing?
No, it's specifically a Catholic thing.
Okay.
All right.
Jeez. I was like, hold on. All right.
I remember, so...
I got more. More.
Go ahead.
All right, so she was doing the whole Jehovah thing for a while. So then, like, I lived in Iowa. I moved to Manassas, Virginia, and that's pretty much, back in the day, it was just pretty much just white people, some black, a few Latino and Asian people. So I think I met like one Indian girl, like, it still wasn't very diverse. So once I moved to Alexandria, which is like 10 minutes outside of DC, I went to a school where there was just like literally every ethnicity you could ever imagine. So that was like eye-opening as far as religion too, because then it's like I'm meeting all these new people that were not Christian, So that just made me grow even more despondent towards religion, because it's like my best friend growing up is Palestinian. She's Muslim. I'm hanging out with all her other Muslim friends, from Afghanistan, from Lebanon, things like that. And they're all like great people, and it just made no sense to me that all the people in one religion would go to heaven while everybody else would be damned because of something as basic as how you decide to worship the same God. That was very confusing to me. Yeah. Because I'm like, my friend, she has like the most loving family, always welcoming people in with open arms. It's like, how could they be punished by God with so much love in their hearts? And I was just like, doesn't make sense to me.
That's all right. So let me jump in. So the one I only really had one. The one that really got me when I was younger is, I remember there was one Sunday. I don't know how old I was. It was probably like somewhere around elementary school, where they were talking about Revelations. Revelations scared the shit out of me. Like, shook my entire world. Like, I remember shortly after they went after that, I was so scared. Because I was like, I'm not going to be ready. You know what I mean? Like, they had us watching. You remember that one, I don't know, it was like a Christian movie that came around, and it was just like Left Behind. And
I never watched it.
Yeah, so like, that was, that though. That was watched shortly after, you know what I mean? And I remember there was a thunderstorm, and I used to have these old windows in my room, and when the wind used to come through mad hard, it would shake the windows and make like this thunder sound, like right? I thought God was coming back. I was so scared. I was crying in my bed, I was like, I'm not saved. But I remember my best friend growing up. He was Hindu. Shout out to Arpan. Arpan. That's not right, but.
That is how you would say it. Arpan, right? It's not Arpan.
I call him Arpan.
Well, yeah, because that's like the English version.
You ain't had to roll the R like that, though.
That's how they talk. I'm not trying to be funny. Just like this one boy in my school, his name is Aric. He's Indian. Everybody calls him Eric. And I'm like, I'm sure it's Aric. Aric. That's probably
all right. Anyway.
I'm just saying, I like to pronounce shit right.
Arpan.
Arpan. Go ahead.
All right. So, when I got this information from Revelations or whatever, I was like, yo, Arpan, my man. I'm like, that's my man. Yeah, I had to been like, I was probably like no more than like 4th grade.
Aww.
Right? Okay. I'm like, yo, like, I gotta let my man know. Like, I can't have him burning in the hellfire. Like, right. So I come to him, and I'm telling him about how God's coming back, and he actually listened. And I'm telling him the sky is supposed to crack open, brimstone. I'm selling it. I am selling it. He needs to know how afraid I am, and he needs to know how much I care about him, right?
Right.
And he's not reacting the way I think he should. So I go through all that, and I'm like, yo, you're not worried? Like, you're not concerned, right? He said, nah. And this stuck with me. This kind of shaped my whole shit. He said, nah, I just call my gods to protect me. From that point
you're like, on, wait a minute.
From that point, like the exploded head emoji. Right. Like from that point on, it was just kind of like my relationship with religion changed. Because like I was, even at that young age, I was able to understand that a lot of what we believe is the result of circumstances. I being born into a Christian household, him being born into a Hindu household. He believed just as strongly about his God as I believed in mine, and I can't really tell him he's wrong. You know what I mean? And I think that's the point in time where I truly started to understand like what faith was. And I think that's kind of where I started getting annoyed at the way I was being taught religion.
Right.
And they were talking to me in absolutes. They were saying that this is it. This is the only way. Right. Everything else is of the devil. Everything else is of the devil. You a Christian household, anything outside of Christianity is demon. Is demonic. Right. Movies demonic. Everything. Anything of this world is demonic.
Right.
So like, and just like you and your friend growing up, it's just like I couldn't understand. Like his family was loving. This is good people, and he's just gonna go to hell because of circumstances.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. Like, I refuse to believe that God will be that basic and turn an eye to those who were pure in heart, all because they didn't convert to Judaism or whatever. Like, I know you're awesome, but
yeah,
you didn't convert.
It just sounds like very divisive.
Fuck you. Like, I just refuse. I was like, God ain't that basic. Like, if he's able to know what you're thinking, to know your heart, and you know what I mean, to know all these things, that one little thing is going to be like, oh, no, stand for eternity. Like, huh?
You didn't go to CCD.
Yeah, and I'm exactly. So that's why I'm like, if that's the case, I didn't want to follow any of these religions if it was that stupid and shallow. Like, I was like, that's stupid. That's why I just couldn't connect to anything.
I think that's the issue. I think a lot of it is we put our own ego into it. Even like the idea of God, it's like a guy that looks like he's human.
Right.
Like we put a face on it. It looked like just some nigga blonde hair.
It's definitely
got soft eyes
light
and
ball.
shit.
He got no face.
Yeah, it's a light, but he ain't got no face.
He got no face. But
or it's not even a he.
It's nothing. It's just it. But that's what I wanted to say too. Like with my mom, how she was always very up and down. Like, when something bad would happen, she would just abandon all faith entirely. And, or it was like we had to go to church every Sunday. But, my mom pretty much, I mean, like many people, took responsibility off of themselves and placed it all on religion.
Thanks.
So, I don't want to put my family business out there quite yet of the bad things, but it's like when something misfortunate would happen, it was God's fault. And her thing was like, why does she believe in God if he would let these types of things happen? And it's like, that's not the purpose. Like, you still have to be responsible for, we have free will. Remember, free will. So there's going to be good and bad things that we have to learn from. Everything can't be good, and we're never going to know what bad is and how to, navigate through life and stuff like that. But
yeah, there's a lot of, like, just no accountability sometimes that I see.
A lot of times.
Yeah, that I see that's just like, nah, you still have to put yourself in position. Like, you still, like, these blessings that you're praying for, like, it don't stop there. You have to put yourself in position for your blessing, or you're putting yourself in position for some bad shit to happen. Right. Not everything can just be traced back, like, and I think that's it. That's a sour point with me. It's just like, bruh, you still have to put in the work. You still have to do some physical work.
Right. I just remember that mom be like, "There's no guy." I'd be like, "That's a little dramatic." I'm like, "Says Lucifer's child." I was like, "That's a little dramatic, Mom." Like, and now my mom is a complete full blown atheist for now. But the thing was, I was like trying to get her to like, because this is when I started reading about like African history and like how like you said, the Sumerian tablets and all that type of stuff. And getting into all the alien shit. So I just wanted her to read different ideas. I didn't need her to go that far with it. I was like, whoa. Nobody told you to go that far.
I like how, like, like some atheists will be so absolute in their belief. They'll act like they have no belief in nothing. But, like, you're so absolute in saying that a God doesn't exist. It's like, how are you speaking in absolutes? I think the intellectual suitable way to respond would be like, I don't know, so I choose either to believe or not.
Right.
But I still can't say for sure.
My mom chastised me for praying.
Damn, son.
I was like cracking up. I was like, "Real? Are you really yelling at me, Britt? Whatever. Oh, look at her over there. What?" Or if like we're in a group text and I'll say something like, "Oh, somebody's blessed," or if I say, God willing.
Yeah, why are you that triggered?
Like,
why are you that triggered?
That triggers.
Why are you that triggered?
I think she's just hyped to be atheist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. My mom is very fanatical.
People just want to be a part of a group.
She's on board with, she's fanatical. So if I be like blessed, like, that ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Because I'm like, because your idea of God is still, very contained and basic within the religion. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I just laugh, because I'm like, you don't get it. Like, God is within yourself. It has nothing to do with some old book and stuff or whatever we went to church to learn. Like, it's much more than that. But you skipped over all that shit. Just went straight to atheism.
I had to. One of the things that I think is an issue for me too, especially being black, it's different. It's like I think Christianity is a very different thing when you're black, because more than likely you're a Christian because you are black in America. And how Christianity was used to enslave people that look like me.
And I knew that when I was young, so I think that was a reason why too I didn't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah,
because it's like. How can that be something good for us? And then with this white Jesus, like,
I was about to say,
then in the text they're saying he's not white, but they're still portraying him as white. I'm like, this is just a bunch of nonsense.
I really side eye like black families that have like that picture of white Jesus hanging up in their house. It's like, yo, come on, bro. It's like wow, like that is blatant. I don't know. I feel like it's irresponsible. I feel like it's just, I do. Like black people, like legit the only people to pray to a God that don't look like them. Everybody else's deity looks like them. This is why I think research is super important, because like we were saying, you will find all religions stem from the Sumerian texts, and they've been appropriated by different cultures. And on a broader perspective, I've read that what we think of the man in the sky is really a representation of our own minds, like you were saying before.
Right.
And then, like, just like, you don't even
your higher self.
Yeah, like your higher self, your ascending self. But, like, you don't even got to go that far in the research to get some raised eyebrows. Like, if you peep the King James version, like, he dropped the version of the Bible like a mixtape.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Really,
like,
though.
Just dropped it off, and I feel like people don't do enough research with this stuff, man. Like they're kind of just accepting it. And then like, if you're trying to minister to me,
right,
you gotta come to me informed. But yeah, let's get back. Let's talk about faith a little bit. Like, since all religions are faith-based, do you think that discredits them at all?
I mean, I think the literal terms are what discredit them. You know, when it becomes a thing like you'll be punished if you don't do this or that. I think that's where it starts to discredit. And people, who are killing in the name of religion. I think that's what makes, people look at it from the side, whatever. Because, I mean, whatever you want to believe, whatever you need is fine, but when it gets into all that crazy shit and trying to control people and all that other stuff, that's where it's like...
Yeah, I mean, I think that's man's perversion of these religions. You know what I'm saying? That's man's flaw more than it is an attack on the religion.
Right.
Like, if I talk to I know a few atheists. If I talk to an atheist, they'll say all religion is all the evil of the world. And the world needs to be rid of it, and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, no, like, people suck. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a constant thing throughout history. Like, people are trash. So,
pretty
like,
much.
You can rid the world of whatever you want to rid it. You can rid the world of Christianity, but the fact still remains that, like, there are just some trash people out here, and they're going to find a way to be trash.
Pretty much.
So, like, it's kind of like I try to relate it when I'm talking to my friend about it. I try to relate it like, you can't discredit all religion for the bad people, for the few bad people. That's like discrediting all Black Lives Matter for the people that are cutting up and rioting. So, like, you can't have that mindset that everything is bad in the batch. I think people need faith. I'm scared of people that don't believe in nothing. And I don't believe people when they say they don't
you need
believe
some
in
sort
anything.
of moral compass, pretty much.
Yeah. And even if it's one you created, it doesn't have to be
exactly.
one I identify with.
Yeah, because, we're pretty much we're animalistic. I mean, we're at the top of the food chain, but us as humans, that's what we are. We're mammals, we're animals. So we need something to keep that animal instinct at bay. We need something to keep us attached to our higher selves while we're on this realm. So, tapping into your faith or whatever you want to call it pretty much is what keeps you connected to your higher self.
That's why I think, like, when people say, like, I don't believe in anything or this, that, and the third, it's just like, well, are you mastering your mind?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, how are you mastering your mind then?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like every religion is just kind of like like you were saying, like a moral compass, kind of like just a little blueprint that a person can use to live a fulfilling life. And then there's benefits outside of religion. Like, a lot of it is community. I was explaining to somebody, like, rarely do you ever go into a community where you're accepted immediately. Mm-hmm. And people are just nice to you. Some people love that aspect of it. It's not necessarily believing in it.
I hate going to new churches. I feel so uncomfortable.
Do you?
Yes. I've been to so many new churches in my life. And it's like, everybody looks at you. You got to stand up.
Everybody got to stand up. Stand up with your family and stuff. Talk. I used to hate having to pray in front of the church. You had to pray over the offering. Mm-hmm. Like, man.
All right.
But, when's the last time you've been to church?
Oh, the last time I went to church, I was pregnant with Shay, and it was on Easter, and my mom.
One of those.
No, I had moved away at this point. I was going, like, my mom did find a church that was, like, really good. He was, like, basically focused just on life lessons. He wasn't super, like, you know, old traditional, whatever. So it was easy to be able to relate to him. But I came home, I think, for the holiday, and we went, and it was so packed. And we were sitting, like, not even, like, inside. We were outside watching, like, the shit on TV or something. And then it was just, like, so extra and just so much nonsense. I looked at my mom. I said, "Mom, can we go?"
They always turn it up. They always turn it up for Easter.
Yeah, it was
Easter service always run a little long.
It was so ridiculous. I was like, "Mom, can we go?" And she was like, "Yeah, let's get out of here." So that was the last time.
Last time I went, I think it was her Easter Sunday too. And I literally go because it makes my mom so happy just to have her children in church. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this past Easter?
Nah, I don't think I went this past Easter. This had to be a couple years ago. Yeah, you should see how happy she is.
I feel bad though because I've never taken Shay to church. Like, I feel bad, but at the same time I don't, but I do, just because I feel like he still needs that experience. Like, we talk about God and stuff all the time, but I don't know. I feel like it's just part of the Black experience. Yeah.
Well, nah, it might be. That's
I love
very
the
true.
Music and stuff. Like, I love going to church for the music.
That's
like,
what
that
I do
was
like.
My favorite.
I do like the music. You know, you had those guest singers come in. Mm-hmm. Those guest singers that come they just be traveling to each church and just ripping, tearing shit up.
The choir, you'll be hitting them harmonies, you'll be going back and forth, up and down.
There you go, then. I ain't gonna lie, that was a perk. You know, looking back on it, I think there was a point in time, especially like early adult, probably like in my early 20s, where I really had like a disdain for it. Mm-hmm. You know, it really left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, me too. Once I started to research other things, I was like, oh, hold up.
Yeah.
Then I was like, should I throw away my Bible? Like, what do I do with this? Because
I think as I gotten older, I appreciate the values it instilled at a young age. I appreciate it. You got to find the things that you took from it. I think at times we kind of tend to just view all the negative stuff. Mm-hmm. But there is some very concrete things I got out of it. But I do feel like you can find these things elsewhere. Mm-hmm.
Did we go into the section of how you describe your view of it now?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We did it. You can go ahead.
Just making sure. Mm-hmm. Let's see what our current views are. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything.
Nah, you good. What's your current view?
All right, so pretty much I have always believed that there is a God or a source or some sort of energy ball up there. But I think many entities, spirits, and angels are all working together up there for us. Mm-hmm. And I mean, pretty much, I believe, be a good person, always have pure intent in helping those when you can, and don't do shitty things to other people or yourself. You know, just basically living by the rules of karma, but not using that as a crutch. Mm-hmm. You know, only doing things for others in hopes of, like, you know, something good will happen to you, or, you know, that's not the way to go about it. Because then you're only doing something for something in return. But, you know, doing things with no expectations, pretty much how I like to live. And pretty much, my journey to my current stance on religion, I started stumbling upon these pro-African videos and posts online back in like 2010, I think. Mm-hmm. And I started researching, and then I saw how the Bible was basically completely plagiarized. And I saw that many of the stories from the Bibles were what I just said, stories or fables, as you may say, pretty much to just teach you lessons on how to live a wholesome life. It's not like things that actually freaking happen. So, of course, white people went over there and saw the stories on these temple walls and remixed it and tried to make it a fact. And, of course, then made a white deity for us to worship. But, so after seeing all this, I was just like, what the fuck? And I started going down a loophole, and I came across, talks about the Anunnaki, and I kept digging deeper and deeper down the alien wormhole. And, I started meditating more and seeing how I could connect with my spirit guide, and seeing talks of how we're all connected, how we are all one. And then I found a book called The Law of One, which focuses on meditation and ascension of our higher selves. And how we use less than 10% of our DNA, so what's up with that? But I think the truth
Not me, bro.
Bullshit.
Not me, bro.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the enlightened one over here. Anyway. But, yeah, I just like... Anyway. You're getting me off track. So,
my bad.
The trippiest theory I heard about God and gods and such. So, pretty much is this. All right, so... I hope this makes sense.
Nah, go for it.
All right,
so
as you're going through your journey of ascension, through the different dimensions. So right now we are in the third dimension where we still require a body. Then we can ascend to the fourth dimension where a body is optional, but we can use like telepathy and all that cool shit. Then, we ascend higher to the fifth dimension where we are just a light body. And I think it goes up to like 7 dimensions. And then, you reach a point where you, at the highest level, where you can decide if you want to sacrifice yourself and become your own son. So, basically, you can become... Yeah, right? Because you're a light body, so you can decide to blow yourself up and become a huge ball of light that will bring forth life, like our sun does. So, hence, which means you will become a god. Because, they have, the sun god, Horus, the sun god is people worship the sun because that's what gives us life or blah blah blah. Anyway, okay. So I'm like, all right, so wait, what if our sun in our solar system was like some regular dude like us, and now he a god?
His name Calvin,
right? Nigga, that Calvin like shit. So if that's the case, I was like, I'm sure our god was like the rebel one out the group. Because shit, look at Earth. Like Earth is a hot mess.
We cutting up.
But he the bad one in the guy family. Right. He cutting up. Milky Way galaxy is on some nut shit.
Yeah. That's why we ain't get visited by no aliens yet.
Nah, they ain't fucking with us. Earth is like I'll talk about that in a moment. But so after learning all this stuff, I'm just like, I don't know what the hell to think. Like, there's so much information, especially with the internet. Like, there's so much information. I'm just like, all that I can do is live my life as pure as I'm able to and try to live a life of service and non-judgment. Yeah. We're all the same. I just try to do for others when I can and be non-judgmental and keep it moving. Try not to get in nobody's way. Like, but as far as, ascension, I think you have a choice. I read Earth is where spirits come to level up karmically because it's so hard living here. And there's so many lessons to be learned living here on Earth. Each life you live, you learn lessons. I guess your soul learns lessons.
So are you saying each life you live, so I guess you believe in what's it called, reincarnation?
I guess so. I don't know what I believe in. This is just another theory.
You know what? It kind of makes sense. If you think about it.
Yeah, so it's if you want to hurry up and level up, you come to Earth because you get a lot of points here because life ain't easy here. I guess if you're on some other place, you just chilling and shit. Like, how much do you really have to learn? How much, heartache do you really go through? But I'm wondering, do people choose to incarnate as a roach? Like, do you really feel like you need to get that level of understanding? Wouldn't that be interesting? But
I don't know what I would be. I wonder if it's a choice. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I wonder. Like, does somebody choose to incarnate as that? But
it does make sense, though. Like, doesn't like reincarnation kind of make sense? I mean, your body decomposes, it turns into soil, and then literally springs forth life in one way or another. So, like, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but then
that is a form. But yeah, I don't know what I'd come back. I'd come back something boss as shit. I want to be an eagle or something.
I don't want to come back to Earth. I want to go somewhere else. I ain't trying to do this again.
But you don't even know what somewhere else is.
I don't care. I want to go to a different planet, a different dimension, something different. I feel like in my past life, I always have dreams about me saving people, but I don't feel like we ever get saved. I never get to the point in the dream like where we die or anything, but in my dreams, I'm always like running around trying to save people. And I said, I must have failed a mission in my past life. I must have been a leader or something.
Who gave Briit a mission?
Shut up. I think in my past, I was a leader or something, and we all died somehow. I don't know what it is, because I always have these panic dreams of me trying to save people, and I'm like, what the fuck is that about? But I need to talk to one of them people that do the past life regressions. Let me know what's that.
Let me know what's that. Like, who are doing? I want to know who these people that are doing that stuff, though. Like, how they get that? How are they the past life?
I don't know. Just like
authority.
I love watching those mediums on TV.
Some of that shit bogus.
Of course,
though,
some
man.
of it's bogus, but some of it isn't, and that's why I be wondering. Like, all right, so like, ask them to let us know what the deal is. Like, where you at? What's going on with you? Ask the good questions. Shit, I know you want to let them know that you leave a penny around every time when they find it, and you be flicking the lights and switch. But like, give us some real tea.
I don't know, man. I side-eyed them joints on television. I had to meet somebody in real life.
Well, I watched them to see the consistency and to see how the other people react. So,
but like, I've seen people do that, and there's a guy that will go to you and will say, "This is a trick. This is not. I'm not no connector, no spiritual person."
I know they'll ask fishing questions and they'll go off of your responses.
Yeah, there's like a science. There's like a science to it.
I've seen some people say ridiculously specific things that weren't going off of anything. So that's where I'm just like, I feel like there is some validity to it, and of course there's some bullshit with it. I don't know, but like I said though, why aren't these people asking the real questions then? If you have this power, nigga, ask what's on the other side and get the real tea. But
that reminds me.
What?
It's kind of off topic, so go ahead.
No, I was going to continue on topic, so go ahead.
Yeah, what's it called? There was, you know how like those big mega churches. First of all, those mega churches. Do you know how much them tickets be?
What do you mean tickets?
Mega churches be going on tour.
Oh yeah, like Joel Osteen and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Joel Osteen go on tour, and tickets be through the roof.
How much they be?
It'd be like $500 to get front row seats.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, all right. So anyway, but you know how they be doing? They'll do like they'll have the person that can't walk. Mm-hmm. And then they get up there, you tap her on the forehead, and now she can walk.
Yes.
All right. So one of the things that they do, like a trick that they do, is say there's an older lady, right? And say she has a walker walking in. They'll offer her a wheelchair.
Okay.
She'll take the wheelchair. In this case, she'll take the wheelchair, right? Mm-hmm. At this point, nobody knows really that she walked in with a walker. Mm-hmm. Right? And they'll go through the point of the time where people are coming up and getting prayed for. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, and they'll turn that into a miracle and be like, stand up. And she'll stand up. Yeah, she walked in. She walked in with a walker. It might have been assisted. But now she's in a wheelchair. Now she's in a wheelchair, and they'll be like, stand up. And the person stands up, and everybody's going ham. Like, they're witnessing a miracle. Joel Osteen is a god, son.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So, yeah, that's one of the little tricks that they do. I found that very interesting. But where were you going? Where were you going with it?
No, I was going to ask you next, what's your, just like I just explained in my crazy nonsense, how would you describe your view of religion now?
Yeah, mine's not really as long as yours, but...
I mean, I just have You know me, I go down the rabbit hole. So.
Down the rabbit hole everywhere. That's good though. It's mine is kind of along the lines of yours. I just want to keep learning, and I don't want to limit the content that I learn. Mm-hmm. Like I want to be able to take information and information of all sorts. So I definitely want to read more into like African systems of spirituality. Mm-hmm. I want to learn more about Hermetic sciences. Mm-hmm. I have a book that I'm struggling through, but but there's just so much information out there, and I don't think it's something that you arrive at a point that you're done learning. Mm-hmm. So it's really a journey, and it's really just making sure you're taking time to learn that stuff. I kind of want to get away from the worldly entertainment. I do believe that the more you're removed from the physical world, the more you can tap into your own mind. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a thing I want to definitely try to practice more. And there's one thing, Jazz put me on this. Mm. Any decision that you make in life, go with the decision that does the least amount of harm. And I think that's a good way to live life.
Right.
I agree with that. So I think that's where I'm at. I think I want to definitely learn. I really want to learn more African stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't it like a thing where they say that like your life is already written out? Like everything you're going to do, like everything is already written out pretty much.
I believe it. Somewhere.
Isn't that like something we were taught?
I don't know. Is it?
I think so, because that's what always got me too. I'm just like, all right, so you already know I'm gonna do all this shit. Then
just watching a movie.
Religion's tricky.
Religion's very tricky. Mm-hmm. Do you think the world? I talk to atheist people a lot, and they try to convince me that the world would be better without religion. Mm. What do you feel? How would you respond to that?
I mean, that's a hard one, because either way things could go wrong. Religion isn't the problem, it's us humans.
Yeah, people suck.
Yeah, like you said before, it's not the religion, it's the people. So I think it can be very helpful to many. It's always those that tarnish a good thing. If I say one more time, sorry guys. The life we live here on earth is full of mystery, so having faith or religion, or whatever you have outside of yourself that keeps you going, is a good thing in my opinion. Because we're all trying to figure this shit out. We ain't gonna know till we die. Yeah. And that's a little comforting too. Don't be afraid of death, because then you'll find all the good, juicy secrets. But
or you don't. Or
yes, you're gonna find out everything. No, it's just black. Right?
That's faith.
I mean, that's too if you don't do spirit work and see that you can connect to spirit guides and other things beyond yourself. That's where meditation and all that junk comes in, where you just get constant proof of things happening. So there's something else going on.
Yeah, I never really got with the people that don't like that. Just take this world at surface level.
They're basic as shit.
I'm like, yo, like, bitch. You really think this is it? This is it?
Right? How do you keep going? Shit.
This shit whack.
Dusty as fuck.
I want to. I guess we're wrapping up, but one thing I want to say is like, in regards to the world being better with or without religion, I don't think bad ideas last long. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anything that's not beneficial sticks around, and the fact that certain religions or the main religions made it all the way to 2019. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Still going strong. There's value in that. Mm-hmm. People don't like, if there was no value in it, it would have been abandoned a long time ago. So that, I don't think the world would innately be better without religion. I think the world needs it because it wouldn't be around if it didn't. Mm-hmm. We would have left those ideas a long time ago. Mm-hmm. You know? I think that pretty much wraps it up. Anything you want to add? You got somebody?
I don't think so. No.
I hope you didn't offend anyone.
Who the offend anyone? How? If you got offended, please. Like, are you serious? I didn't say one bad thing about
why you
anyone's
said religion. You instantly said I didn't say any bad thing.
What?
Why you incriminate yourself like you might have?
saying. I didn't say anything that's saying like your religion sucks. Like I didn't say anything like that.
You're trash religion over there.
The fuck y'all doing over there? Nuts.
Yeah, nutty. Well, we didn't talk about Scientology.
Oh, fuck Scientology. That's some shit you can trash all day long. Yo, fuck them. That's a trash-ass religion.
Oh, God.
Down, yo. I fell off from watching
you better stop. They gonna come for us.
I don't fuck them. Come on. But, you know the one chick that whatever. Yo, I had stopped. It's so sad. I couldn't take it. That shit
they like
depressing.
excommunicate you from your family and all that.
So many families been torn apart by that Scientology religion. It's crazy. I might pick up watching it again, but I had to take a break. I said, damn, I wasn't ready.
Maybe we need to do one on Scientology.
I'm just gonna be saying fuck them the whole time. So I don't know if y'all want to hear me say fuck over and over again.
All right, Britt, we're rambling.
Yeah.
Let's till next time. We'll be back. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Remember to engage with us. Let us know what you think. We love getting feedback. Throw us some ideas. What did we miss? We not gods. We ain't gonna be able to talk about anything.
Yeah, right? I'm pretty sure we missed a lot.
Yeah, we missed everything. I'm gonna go with the assumption we missed everything. But everybody out there, take care.
Yes.
Love y'all.
Aw.
Bye.
Godspeed. Bye.